Welcome, ladies and even gentlemen, to yet another episode. With you is the most gorgeous relationship coach. I know, I feel like that. And the reason why I feel like that is because today's topic will have something and everything to do with how I just feel. So, my dear ladies, welcome to yet another beautiful episode. And I'm going to be having a guest. And even before I introduce her, let me just remind you to like this video, share it with someone that you know who might benefit from today's talk, and remember to subscribe. And let's hop right into it. I'm going to let my beautiful, beautiful guest introduce herself, and you're going to understand exactly why I feel like she's the most beautiful woman I've ever met. So, karibu.
Asante sana. So Gatula, body image coach. I would want to call myself a body whisperer because honestly, I love bodies.
Wow.
And anytime
Wait, let me first ask you, when you say a body whisperer, because I remember watching this program called Ghost Whisperer as a kid, and this was somebody who used to talk to ghosts. Do you talk to bodies?
That's what I want to talk about. I want
Okay.
to be that person that can look at somebody's body, and of course, sometimes I do. I can tell you're fine or not fine,
Wow.
and not really about how people talk about the eyes. You know, eyes can tell whether you're fine or not. But there's something I'm learning about bodies, and that is what I want to be. I've gone deeper into learning about the human anatomy and lots of things about our bodies, our emotions.
And can we specify when you talk about the bodies, you know, bodies, most people expect them to be dead bodies. Are we talking about some
You're
dead
talking
bodies
about
of people,
you're
actual
talking
living
about
people?
living people.
Okay.
Because this is the most amazing business, the living.
Yeah.
And to live fully is to have loved yourself. And it's so rare, and I've seen people die without ever loving themselves and without ever thinking that they're beautiful. And I can give you a good example of a client that I dearly valued when I was doing the chemical business. So I used to look at her and tell her, hey, napenda katumbo kako, unajua. And then she used to tell me, indo ile kitu nachukia kabisa.
Wow.
And a year later, she died.
Wow.
She died trying, like, it's not like she died trying to lose the belly fat, but she died on her way, like unajua alikuwa na shida za asthma and all that.
Okay.
So in her journey hakuwaijua how amazing she is because kuna kitu ilikuwanga inamsumbua. I want to look my best. And that's not to say that you're not supposed to do something like self-improvement.
Yeah.
It's really necessary, but from the point of love. Our dear body, nakupenda sana. Unajua kuna so many benefits za kukua healthy. Nakupenda sana. I'm only trying to lose some weight for you. Not because I want to look like my coach, Jacinta. Unajua, because people have talked a lot about being lean. Na a lot of people, ukiuliza mtu genuinely niambie, kwa nini unataka kulose weight? Kwa nini? Kuna mtu atakwambia, he, nilipita juzi pahali, I didn't like vile hawa baba waliniangalia, or I didn't like vile kwa ofisi ninakuwa treated. And anytime you do not love yourself, you will not know, but your body knows. And there's this amazing book that I read, that the body keeps the score.
Yeah.
And it truly does. So I would want people to truly be happy in their bodies. And anytime they want to change something, I would still recommend it. But as long as it comes from a basis of love, I'm for it.
Yeah, for it.
If it's not for that, appreciation first, and then we'll work on improvements later.
Wow. That's a very deep topic. And first of all, I'm tempted to ask, like, what sparked this for you? How, for me, relationship, first of all, it's through experience. It's a calling and a passion that I feel I'm called for. What about you? Was it, what happened? What led you to be who you are today?
Okay. I got banned in 1997. So I was 3 years old.
Wow.
And my burns are all Eden.
When you say burnt, was it someone's doing? Was it an accident?
No, it was an accident. I was laying by the side of fire, the traditional one, and my dress caught fire.
Wow.
I was unwell, so I went to lie down by the side of the fire to get some warmth. And before I knew it, the dress had already caught the fire. So I went and hid in a cloth storage box. Hizo sanduku kama za high school za chuma. And after some time, my relative, my aunt rescued
When you were
me.
burned.
Yeah. And I think it's God because oxygen is curbed when umejiingiza kwa manguo or blanketi. So it's God that I did that. So later, just when my auntie shouted, she was young, a passerby came and helped me. They took me to a nearby dispensary and then later to another hospital where I took a year plus because I've told you that the burns are hidden, so it's not easier for you to see. But one of my breasts was burned and dislocated.
Wow.
My navel too was burned and dislocated at the same time.
Wait, it was that bad and you still had the strength as a 3-year-old to go and hide after all this?
You know why I was hiding? And
Yeah,
that
why were you
brings you to
hiding?
gentle parenting. I was hiding because wewe unajua about the African mothers. I knew shosho yangu akinikuta hapo, umechomeka ukifanya nini?
Wow.
You know, before she saves you, she will beat you. Unajua, and I've seen it even today.
Yeah.
Unapata mtoto wako amechomwa kidogo tu na sufuria and then you beat
the first
them.
question is, exactly.
So it's even in the world today.
Would you feel like that is something that we, especially as Africans, I don't know about the whites, but I feel like for us as Africans, we have a lot of that. Like we criticize as parents, because I normally also feel like right now looking back, like we don't have so many choices because we don't feel like we have any. We are not left with any. And I will maybe take you back to a point in my life where I felt like the first time I got pregnant. I would say that for me, marriage was the only choice that I saw back then, because I had the choice. Like if I had a home where I felt like they could understand me and maybe guide me in the right way, I would have had another choice that I could have made to say, okay, let me go back to my parents, tell them the truth. Maybe they can decide to stay with my kid as I go to school. But for me, I didn't see any other option. Just like you chose to hide, for me, I chose to just get married because I'm pregnant. So would you say that maybe some of these things make us feel like we don't have choices?
Yes,
yeah,
they do. And also, I think our parents, it's not like they don't love us. Our parents have also been conditioned that way. I remember, I would want to share this. I hope when my mom sees this, she will not get mad at me. But okay, later I'll tell her why I had to do this, because I'm doing this for any other mother out there.
Yeah.
Sometimes love looks like hatred. I know my mom loved me deeply, but she was also, I don't want to say ashamed of me, because if I say that, she'll feel bad. Not really ashamed, but she didn't know how to handle me.
Yeah.
Because this time I was in Form 3, and she told me, okay, I came with a C, I think it was a C minus, and I've always been a bright child. So this time my mom with shosho tells me, hey, wewe utaki kusoma na uko na matiti moja, so you think ni mwanaume yupi atakubali kulala na wewe? It's, in short, she's telling me, study hard, my daughter. I want the best for you,
but not in a good way.
Na mwanaume because they are your looks. But she told it in a bad way. She said it in a bad way,
traumatizing way.
Yeah. And I took time to forgive her. Later, when I started researching on forgiveness, on body image, on awareness, it's then that I realized, oh, this was love from my mother. Because mimi nilikuanga hatuko close, tuko too close. I would call her mom, we would laugh, mi joke sana, we would joke, but moyo wangu ulikuanga mbali sana. It's when I started understanding all this that I loved her deeper.
Okay.
Because yeye alikuanga afraid. I've seen a mother akona mlemavu. This boy akitoka nje, mamake anamchapa. And you know why? Unaniibisha, unataka watu waseme niko na kilema. And it happens a lot.
That's
so
true.
yeah, our parents were not gentle because of maybe what they went through,
Yeah, even their
and
own
being
environment.
that, yeah,
Because if
hakukuwa
you're
na
going through the
awareness.
same thing through your mom and your grandma, so the
Yeah.
grandma is the one who brought up your mom, how will
Yeah.
she be any different?
Yeah, angekuwa different.
So back to your story. So what happened after you were now taken to the dispensary?
I only got first aid from there, and then I was transferred to Machakos General. I stayed for some months, and then to Nazareth Hospital. Hapo sasa ndo nilikaa hadi I got well.
And how long would
Yeah.
that take?
Around 1 year, 6 months in both hospitals.
Wow, that was a lot of time.
It was until people started saying, hey, huyu mama, all she wants is to eat money from us, copying money from people's pockets. Mtoto wake alikufa na tukazika.
Right.
Like, people got to that point. It's only like the only reason why I really love people. I'm a product of people.
Yeah.
You know, I've been saved by a stranger, and then in the hospital when bills were really high, it's a father Catholic priest that helped with the 100,000 that was needed, and you know that was a lot of money back then. Yeah. So I think kuna kitu pia kando na body image imegrow ndani yangu, like a seed that blossoms every day. The love
I feel
for
like
people.
that is how you get to know your purpose in this life.
Yeah.
Because without going through everything that you've gone through, you cannot be who you are. And sometimes the things that we feel like are too obvious to us, like, see, I survived. It's nothing big. I'm here today.
Exactly,
It might actually be someone else's saving grace, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So growing up, how was it now for you with the scars and everything going on?
It wasn't bad, especially when I was young. But just that, I hated myself as a child.
And
So I
kids were not
didn't-
teasing you, because I know kids can be so brutal.
They couldn't because they could not see my scars.
Oh yeah, because they're
But
hidden
then
by
there's
the
a time they
clothes.
saw just a small part that's whitish, because you know the all the skin ilikuwa imechomeka, and then they called me a mzungu, like, you know, kids, they're just
I
innocent.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah, but for them it was fun. For me it wasn't.
Yeah, because
And
you know
then,
the truth.
yeah, the time that I felt like I'm now someone that feels different, exactly different, and completely different, is when I was in class 8, when my breasts were growing, and then this young girl says to her mother, Mommy, ule msichana ako na matiti moja, ingine iko kwa tumbo, because you know it has been
Pulled down.
by the fire. It's then that I first thought of suicide. It's then that I felt I do not deserve to continue living. And then I remember telling my brothers, for them it might be trauma because I was the oldest. I remember telling him, my younger brother, I wish I was different, and I wish I looked like everybody
Everyone
else.
else.
And my brother comforting me and telling me, if anything, if we would be allowed, he would marry me just to reassure me that I'm
Okay.
everything good.
Oh, that was so sweet.
Yeah.
Are you still close to your brother?
We are. Yeah.
Wow. And how did that make you feel?
Good.
Did that change your perspective now?
It did, but not at all. Like, not completely, but it did. For a moment, yes. Yeah. And then I went to high school. I've told you I was in class 8, so I went to high school. And then I used to take shower with everyone else, as it's the norm.
Yeah, in boarding
Until
schools.
one day, when I was in Form 2, a Form 1 asked, hey, ona ule msichana ako na matiti moja. Guy, kwanza hata kitovu yake umeona vile iko. Umeona hata hiyo tumbo yake. Like all that. And then kutoka hapo I started hiding. Nilikuwa naamka sasa saa 9, naenda kuoga. And then later msichana mwingine akaniambia, hey, lakini Geti, wewe unaizoleka kweli na vile unakaa hivyo. Sasa kujihide deeper.
And did they know by then that what they're saying is actually hurting you, ama they were just saying it by the way?
They don't know.
Because I feel like most of the time we say things just randomly. The way I can just tell you, by the way, I don't like this and this. But then you become so self-conscious about it.
Or the way people look at you and ask you, guy, uko hivi mkubwa na uko na mtoto moja, ama una mtoto mwingine, things like that. And they do not know, maybe ata ilitoka jana. They don't know. Yeah,
The
so I would
struggles.
never say that they knew. Yeah.
Wow. So how did the story go, like during your high school?
Okay, high school,
Did it get better?
it didn't get better in high school because, you know, like I could not even.
Because I can imagine that is the most time that you're so self-conscious.
Yeah.
For me, I remember first of all, when you're talking about class 8, class 8, I was under a lot of stress because I felt like everyone else was growing, but I was so
You're the
slim that
tiny
time.
one.
Me, I was the tiny
Yeah.
one, so slim. And I remember I used to watch another girl there. I don't know even where she went, but her name was Beatrice. But she used to be like what people call fast border. That girl, she looked so good. She had her boobs coming out. Me, mine took time. So I used to even feel like putting socks on my boobs. So I can imagine now how it used to feel for you. And then now come high school, at least that's when I started getting confident because I had a bit, my body was now growing. I had some two hips. I was feeling a bit better. Even though I still felt like, no, I can be better.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So how was the journey for you?
My journey, I would say, was 50% smooth. The only thing that I remember doing, sikuwahi toa sweta ama windbreaker. Hadi nikivaa nguo za kwenda field, I used to put my windbreaker on. And sometimes I look back at my younger self and wish I would have hugged myself. And now that I would not, I wish someone hugged me and told me, just remove the sweater. We are all different.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Because I didn't. My class teacher called me this semester, this time. He wanted me to go back and talk to the students about body image. So I promised myself that if I'll go back to my school, I'll go first without a bra to remind the girl that I was that she's beautiful with or without the two breasts, that she's beautiful. And then I would go with a cloth that reveals some parts of my scars so that the girls that I go to talk to will at least relate with the story that I'm talking the story that I'm talking about, so that for anyone that has any hidden difference or disfigurement, or anyone that feels they have a problem that needs to be addressed but they do not know how, can get the courage and approach me for it, or approach their teachers. Also, what I would say about high school, now I think I'm done with that. I would say that when it comes to body image, teachers also contribute.
A lot.
And this was not for me. I remember a girl that answered a biology question, and then this teacher was a Kikuyu, so she told her, alikosea. So she told her, hey, na vile uko mkubwa alafu unakosea. And I just imagine how it feels being told things like that.
And especially in front of everyone else.
Yeah. So I grew up well up time in high school, and then I went to university.
So when did you discover now Precious? Because right now I know you as Precious more than Gertrude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's when I went to university, I was at KU, when one of my breasts teared down. I was in that year. Then I went to the hospital yenye ilikuwa karibu, and they told me we can only refer you to Kenyatta because we cannot handle this. And singefika Kenyatta that time. So I went and looked for this girl called Salome that I used to see showing off her scars. And she told me, nikamwambia everything that I was going through, and she told me that's not a big deal. You only have to go and wash it well and moisturize it. For 2 to 3 days, you'll be fine to go. And I was. So it's after that time that I felt so many people need this kind of help, because I searched in groups, Facebook, and I didn't see anyone doing the body image. Not really about the body image coaching. I didn't see any group that dealt with bodies and the struggles that people go through.
I have a question. What do you mean by it teared?
It teared, yeah, because it has been dislocated by fire. Like imepuliwa chini, iko hapa. Sa unaona saizi huwezi ona juu, niko na bra, so ni bra imepull. Iko hapa hivi. Bila bra, you would see, and then it lies like this. It's not like how the normal breasts inakuanga hivi. Yangu imelala hivi. Sasa nilikuwa nimelala kwa sofa. I think hiyo kujivuta hivi. Hiyo sasa si unaweza understand.
So
Yeah,
the
like
skin
it's
literally like
tear.
just tear.
Yeah.
Sasa hapo kwenye imelalia hivi ndio ikaanza kubleed.
Wow.
So it's then that I started sharing my story. And I first started going to hospitals.
And how did you feel, first of all? Like, where do you get this courage? Because, like you're saying, the way you're dressed right now, no one can even tell. How do you wake up and decide, okay, I'm going to tell people about my story and my struggles?
Let me tell you something about when I started. I didn't share the whole of it. I used to hide about my dislocated navel. I used to hide about my breasts. I used to hide that, you see, this leg is not the same as this. In fact, people used to call me like a catwalker in school because I have a funny walking style that people think kuna wale wenye wanasema ai ni maringo but in the real sense it's because moto ilivuta a part of me here that ilibidi ekwe during my grafting. Sijui saa vile ilifanya, sijui kama hiyo ni grafting ama ni nini but kuna kitu imeshikanisha hii side na hii side so inafanyanga hii mguu inakaa a bit shorter. If you saw me wearing a short utaona hii side short, hii side inaendanga hivi flat so inakuwa refu. Hii side itafika hapa tu haitateremka. If you see me wearing something like a dress yenye bodycon kuna vile bado utaona ikijivuta because this side is completely flat. And this brings me to my choices of panties. Kuna panty nikivaa itakata hiyo area and then itaanza kubleed. So when I started, I used to hide all these parts. Until now, I met my husband. And then he told me, kuna parts of you that have not yet healed. And then nashindwa ni gani, si ni zangu, wewe unajuaje gani yenye utapona? And then he told me, if truly ungekuwa healed, you would tell people everything about yourself. So it's then that he started buying me shorts and telling me tunatembea na wewe, tutawalk. Wewe kama umevaa short yako, inaonyesha na skasi inafika hapa. Na utaenda na bra, utavaa tu t-shirt. Unajua sasa hiyo of course hiyo sasa sio kama sasa unajua saizi nisha breastfeed so moja iko hivi ingine iko tu hapa. Hiyo time utaona tu the difference. But it started giving me the confidence kidogo. And I felt like now nimeanza kuheal and I started telling the story fully when I go to hospitals. When I gave birth, I thought sasa mimi niko refined kabisa kama God to become a body image speaker, but sikukuwa nimerefinika kabisa. When I gave birth, mtoto wangu alikuwa sawa, but nilivunjika hii mkono and my breast yenye iko na nipple, hii haina nipple, ilichomeka hadi nipple, so hii ndo iko na nipple. So I used to hold my son all through na this side. When you look at anyone's ears, these are called cartilages, the tough thing. It's called cartilage. So my son alikosa the cartilages, they didn't form because unajua mtoto anakuanga ajamaliza kuumbwa. So the cartilages continued softening until sasa masikio yake ina protruding hivi.
I had seen you write about that first.
So mimi nilikuanga namvalisha kofia, sitaki maswali. Navalisha mtoto wangu kofia until yeye akuwa miaka 2 akaniuliza, alianza kuongea kitambo.
And first of all, ebu see life. Sasa tu unadhani you're done with that journey of body image. Kwa tokea someone else. Juu sasa huyu lazima ni wewe ana look up to you for guidance.
And I've always been that person that is really positive about things. Like for example, someone else would start getting stressed up about where the kids looked like that. For me, sinikwambia at first I started my organization, ilikuwa nataka niliita Beyond Skin Burn Survivors. It was just for burn survivors. Later nikaichange ikakuwa, so before I got my son ilikuwa inaitwa Beyond Burns and Disfigurement. Like nilianza kufeel wacha ni deal pia na watu wako disfigured in other ways. But then when I got my son, I felt I'm called for all bodies. Niliangalia hivi mtoto wangu na nikajambia this dream inanikalia hard, but the only reason that I'm not going to give up it's because I would never want to see my son going through struggles in self-esteem. So nikaiweka tu beyond skill, beyond burns and disfigurement, but I didn't register. Tukakaa until sasa hiyo time yenye mtoto wangu alianza kuniuliza mam, wewe unasemanga unanipenda lakini unaficha masikio yangu. Nasema mimi naficha masikio? Dadi, kuna kuanga na baridi ati ai. Mam, saa zingine tunaenda supermarket na kuna jua na unanivalisha tu.
And kids can be savage. Nakwambia as it is.
Sasa tumekuja home, mi nafikiria tu design itai handle. Nikidhani na handle kidogo, last year ameanza kuenda shule. Sasa hapo ndo anakuja anakuambia vizuri, mam, unaona fulani alisema masikio yangu ni kubwa sana. Then yeye alikuwa na believe masikio yake inafanana ya babake. I think it's the father that told him that. So this time tumeamka asubuhi, anakuja anatoka kwa bedi yake, anakuja anauliza babake, baba, si you said unanipenda? Unaweza niambia ukweli? Masikio yangu inafanana yako? Yes baba. Anamshikashika hivi, si unajua ile yenye hivyo, anamshikashika vizuri, anamwambia kabisa, dadi, hii masikio yako inafanana yangu. Nasema basi wewe ni muongo dadi. Jana Abia alisema yangu inafanana ya danki. Nikamwambia inafanana ya baba, akasema basi ujui masikio ya babako. Na mimi nimeona wewe ni muongo kabisa. So nimekuwa
sasa handle aje jua mtoto amekuweka on the spotlight.
Hiyo time yenye alikuja kwambia babake, mimi nilikuanga hapo. Like huyo mtoto akimwambia nilikuwa kwa nyumba na wao walikuwa nje. I used to say I'm healed. Nakwambia design ilitoka kwa hiyo nyumba, nikaenda. Wewe Abi, si ni mtoto wangu unaambia hivyo? Nikatetesha mtoto mpaka mtoto akaniogopa like. Baadaye nikaenda nikaambia mamake, and you know, some others, kama uko healed by the pia, you not understand kitu mtoto wako anafanya. Aki alimchapa. Later aki nikaenda nika-apologize hiyo mtoto because I felt, hata hii ni kitu you can do something like a show and tell. Unamwelezea ni nini. They do not know.
Understand. There's just innocent play kids. So hadi ukiuliza mtoto kitu, hata it's told, kama unataka the most honest opinion, uliza mtoto. Hata uliza mtoto nakaa aje, atakwambia the whole truth.
Sasa nikaenda nika-apologize akatoi, and then we became friends again. And it's then that niliamua I'll teach them wao wako karibu. Anytime tu mtu anauliza nitamwambia.
Right. Totally understand you, especially when it comes to kids. Why is so triggering? I remember there was a time my daughter, my firstborn daughter, she's a bit chubby, a bit thick than me. So imagine growing up, everyone, including her grandma, they used to make some comments there. Hey, Kwani, you're the one who is eating everyone's food in the house. Hey, sijui what you're doing. And at some point, it got to a point where I noticed it's really taking a toll on her. Because you could see that she was not happy. She's even refusing to eat. Avoiding food. Mara, she tells you, Mom, why do you want me to eat so much? And then at some point she told me, now the big thing that made me realize that it's really something huge, and she was around 9 there. She told me, Mom, I don't feel like we look alike. I'm your daughter, but I'm black, first of all. She said, I'm darker and I'm bigger. You're more beautiful than me, Mom. I told her, who told you that? So you see, everyone tells me that. And growing up, even when she lost her first teeth, some kids used to tease her. They used to call her Mapengosita. So she even did not want to go out and play. And now she goes to school, primary, and kids are telling her how big she is. I had to stop, like everyone, even family members. I hear you ask her that. I tell you, no, don't tell her that. So I got very protective over her.
I also got that protective until I realized I cannot beat my son all the days of his life. And the best that I can do is to look for ways to deepen his understanding of bodies and to show him lots of different people. Like I remember kuna time tumeenda market and then he tells me ameona wheelchair. Then he tells me, Mom, mi nakwambia Mungu akupe gari kama hiyo upandange.
A wheelchair.
And then I tell myself, we need more lessons bodies na disabilities because the prayer is so genuine. Akimam, at least basi
it's
ukuwe na
a car.
gari kama huwezi afford kama ya dadi ujibebange peke yako. So like kutoka hiyo time yenye hiyo period ilipita, niliamua kugo deeper into what I can do. And then I started writing him a story. Like, I don't know whether you read the story on Facebook. I shared this story that I wrote about the boy with magic ears. So it went like this. It's long because it's a story to be read.
Yeah.
So like once upon a time in a certain town, there was a boy called Stanislaus, born to Gertrude and John. And he was their firstborn. They loved him deeply. But then he had something amazing. His ears were quite different from those of the other kids. And they would tease him. They would tell him that the ears looked like those of a donkey, a rabbit, a lot of stuffs. And the boy used to break down all the time and didn't get the courage to go out. And then one day, schools are closed. They have to go to the village. And then they decide with his cousins, now let's go to the forests to take care of the cows. And then Stanislaus remembers, Mama has always been talking about forest bathing. And now that I've gotten the chance to go to the forest, I would rather excuse myself and go to the forests alone and hail through the forest. So when Stanislaus is in the forest, he realizes that he has something different. Through his ears, he can hear the whispers of the trees and their communication, all their fears. And kidogo, he hears a squirrel that is crying for help, and he goes and helps him. Then he meets a guy, a very old man, that tells him about his ears.
So they had special powers.
Yeah. And then Stanislaus goes back. He's so amazed. And now anapenda masikio yake kabisa. So he tells his cousins. They go and tell his grandma. And now grandma tells him, hey, unaona uzuri wa kukua different. Now look at you.
Wow.
And then he comes back and he has all the joy to go outside and tell his story. So yes, Stanislaus saizi anakwambianga
Has a
tunatembea naye.
superpower.
Yeah, and people look at his ears and he tells me, guy, mom, hawa hawajaiona magic ears. And then he's like this.
Oh, and how old is he now?
He's turning 5 years next year, February.
Wow. I think you're doing a very remarkable job. And how would you say, like, raising him that way, how has that impacted you or helped you? Because I feel like those were the parts of you. And kids have a way of bringing these parts of you that are not healed to actually now
Exactly.
come out. So that I feel like they come out so that you can address them. You know? Yeah. So how do you feel
Because
about
for
that?
me, I always feel he's the person behind all the masks that I've had in life, unmasking. Kwa sababu hadi nilikuanga nadhani niko na upendo until I see my child and I've realized I can even love deeper. Then nilikuanga na hasira, yani mi nilikuwa nashindwa mtu akisema ati I'm raising my kids without beating them aje. I used to beat mine and beat until nikaanza kusoma about traumas and made a vote to myself. Kwa vitu zote sitawaitaka, it's to bring up a child that will go to a therapist after. Now they have their own money. To tell them about everything that their mother did to them. Yeah. Because najua traumas haziwezi kosa because vitu zingine utafanya na awares. You can't be 100%, even the healed ones.
Yeah.
Because your intentions ziko sawa but imeenda kwingine na badwe. So I made a vow that time that I'll try to be a bit kinder. I'll try to be a bit understanding. I was that parent that would tell my child, tuseme ako na toy and then the other kids wamekuja na hawana stand, share tu. Share. Then, mom, nataka kucheza nayo. Share, daddy. I've told you sharing is caring.
Yeah.
But mom, natumia. Kwani wewe hutaki mimi nicheze nayo? And then, nitakuchapa. And then anapeana sawa tu.
Shingo upande. Make him feel like you don't love him.
Yeah. And then this other time nataka share. Namwambia unaona basi daddy ukimpatia. Tukienda super nitakubaia Kinder Joy. It's then that nilikuja kuona tu kidogo for me, a lot of times people talk of be kind. Be kind for everyone you meet is fighting their own battle. But for me, I love kindness. Honestly, I'm a kind person. But I tell people heal and save the world.
Yeah.
If you're not healed, your kindness would be from a point of I don't deserve. Acha nikufanyie hivyo juu ni wewe uko na issue. And I also have my own issues. But anytime you're healed, you're able to give from a point of kindness and a point of exactly
I have
abundance. And then when people at any given point in life turn against you, you would set them free with a loving heart.
Yeah.
Hakuna ile ya
You
kusema
didn't sacrifice yourself to make them
exactly.
happy.
Unaisema vizuri. It was not a sacrifice.
Yeah.
I gave it to you because I had it.
Yeah.
It's not like nimekuja kukuomba nguo na uko na mbili na umenipea moja and then unaanza kusema yani na vile nilijitolea. You didn't jitolea. You were abundant.
And actually, when we give because you're expecting something in return, it's a subtle way of manipulation. Nafanyia hii so that you can behave a certain way. But most of the time we never realize that. Yeah.
So it has always, for me, it has always been heal and save the world.
Yeah.
I've seen my son becoming a bit kinder and understanding since, unajua, nilikuwa bitter in so many ways. Hadi alikuwa anakuja, mam, unajua ule ameniambia masikio yangu ni refu, daddy, ukiwa na ukubaliki pahali jitoe. And then I started telling him, unajua, mi usema, love, hakunaga kitu kama hatred. Anytime unaona kuna mtu anakuchukia, honestly, there's something in you. Maybe I love how you stand up for yourself. Na because I've never, kama mimi sijai kwa ule mtu wa kujisimamia. So nikiona unajisimamia we basi uko na kiburi. Ni nini sasa inakusumbua? Ati tumeenda pahali umekanyagwa, wewe unaweza sema kwa nini umenikanyaga hivyo? Mimi you would kanyaga me and say, and I'm the one to say I'm sorry. Pole na juu kuko unaona.
Wow.
Sasa imefikanga ile point yenye niliamua ku raise up a healed child. I can't heal him fully, of course.
Yeah.
But a bit healed.
And even
so
you try the best that you can. You learn from all the mistakes.
Anything yenye yeye atawahi fanya, haitawahi kwa ati amesacrifice anyone, not me, not his dad, not his family members, and not his friends. He did everything he did in the best way he knew how, at the most like available time and everything.
Wow.
Sasa I think kuna yenye tuliruka about the breastfeeding. Considering
how
that
would
I
you
had one
breastfeed?
breast.
Yeah.
And also my pregnancy. Tuliruka, unajua, my stomach is so tight.
Yeah.
And doctors walikuwa wameniambia I'm not able to give birth because it won't stretch. So I always call it a miracle how it is stretched and that my son alienda one side. Unajua mtoto wangu alikuwa hii side.
One side.
Hii tumbo yangu. Hata ukiangalia saizi amba kuko kama hii side. So boli yangu haikuwa ikuja hivi. So this time nimeenda clinic Kenyatta. Huyu nurse ananiambia lakini madam acha mchezo. Ebu angalia wanawake wote she tells them to stand up, to stand up. Madam, unaona wenzako vile mimba zao zinakaa? Yes, aje hivi. So wewe yako unataka ikae aje? Nasema sijui. And then ananiambia wewe ndio ukuje na huyo bwanako.
And then nurses kwanza wengine it's like they are called for a different career. Just sasa huyo ni military officer ama ni nurse.
Aki ananiambia wewe ndio ukuje na bwanako next week tubuki kitu itolewe kama utaki kukufa.
Serious. And then sasa how do you overcome that?
Ninalia na niuliza lakini unalia nini? Mimi nakusaidia wewe unalia. Tunamaliza natoka. My mother in law amekuanga supportive especially hiyo time. Naenda namwambia mom, si nimetoka tu hapo nje so I'm crying na nataka hata hiyo unajua comfort kama machozi itaisha upande gani. And then I tell her, and then she tells me you achana na yeye, wewe utazaa, we are praying for you, utazaa. And then I take the pregnancy to full term.
Then how is the pregnancy sasa? How?
My pregnancy was smooth, especially the first months. Vile ilifika 7-8 months ndio ilianza kutia. Ilianza. Unaona ilikuanga east side na imestretch mpaka imekuja huku. So ilianza huku inakatika, inatea tu, ina bleed, inatea tu, like ungepata huko kuna tu vidonda twingi. Then uzuri hiyo time nilikuwa sana nimeenda ushago hapo vile ilifika 7-8 months tulienda home. So mother in law alikuwa ananipanguza a lot of times ananipaka mafuta. I think hiyo ndio kitu ilisaidia kabisa.
Na straight.
So tukarudi. Sasa juu ilikuwa lazima tu nizalie Kenyatta, we didn't want to spend lots of time in Shanz. Kwa sababu all the doctors used to look at me, hizo hospitali zingine wanakuambia tukaenda tu Kenyatta. So
Mtoto alikuwa normal ama
CS?
CS?
Mtoto alikuwa 3.9 kgs.
What?
Hadi nilikuwa naambua asipite 2 kgs. So katoika kwa 3.9 na saa hiyo nilikuwa naambua nisipitishe tu. Na hata nilikuwa nimeambua juu nataka kuzaa sana nikuje atolewa kwa that 2 weeks aiko kwa
Incubator.
yeah. So mimi sikuenda at hiyo that 2 weeks but nilikuwa naenda 2 clinics bado. Wananiambia if you want to push continue. So ikafika hiyo time labor imekuja, wameamua acha wanifanyie CS. Then this daktari mzungu comes and says huyu vile nimemuona mkimfanyia CS mtafanya wapi? Atahila aje? Then they decide let's give her time tuone kama atapata labor. And mi husema always the universe will always conspire to help you as long as you're willing.
Yeah.
Because when you're willing utaona hiyo help na uta appreciate. So nilienda hapo nikikuwa 2 centimeters. And then hizo 2. Then Dr. mwenye alinipima hivi akaniambia si madaktari walikuwa wamegoma, nikikuandikia uko tu kweli utarudi tu home. Na vile nimeona hiyo mwili yako sitaki urudi home. Acha nikuandikie uko 4 and I will do everything possible to see you giving birth. This woman, I think she was a nurse, used to pat me kwa mgongo. Nasikia kutapika, ananipata, analeta ndoo, natapika, anaenda, anamwaga, anaosha ndoo, anarudisha. Unasikia kukojoa. Like hiyo yenye wanapimanga sasa, amekuja na kitu amekufunikia kojolee kikombe, twende tupime nikulete. Like hakuwaitaka ni struggle. That people used to complain, sisi tunatreatiwaje kama umbwa na huyu anatreatiwa hivyo vizuri. But then I think alikuwa ananionea tu huruma. Anajiambia tu sitaki huyu ateseke. And it's God. Saa 8 akaniambia hebu tutoke kwa hii ward nikupeleke kwa ile ingine juu hapo unaona kumejaa. Hata ukipata leba utazalia wapi? Nikifika tu hivi akiniambia lala nikupime. Imagine toindo hiyo. Just like that until kila mtu ako like huyu amepewa mtoto huyu kuja experience pain but nilikuwa na experience ni vile walisema nimepewa sasa.
Na ulifeel aje juu? So wait, labor yako ikuwa for long, kwa prolonged, it was intense pain?
Imagine nilikuanga nasikia uchungu but watu wanasemanga ni uchungu zaidi considering hizo masaa za kwanza ilikuwa inakuja kama crabs hivyo. So hapo kitu saa 6 ndo nimeanza kupigia mamangu mother-in-law nawaambia mom nasikia uchungu and they're laughing. Wananiambia bado. So kidogo anaona nimepata mtoto.
Wow. Hiyo ni it's a miracle by the way.
Mtoto kupimwa ako 3.9. Amebebewa kwa tumbo gani? Hicho. So hivyo sasa challenge ikafika. Ikafika that matiti ni moja. Na unajua nilikuwa nimeambiwa siwezi za na siwezi si umetaka kuzaa haiwezi nyonyesha juu matiti ni moja hii itafura utakuwa mgonjwa. So I think words are really powerful. Very powerful because sikutoa maziwa hata tone hata hivi yani hata sijui aje sikutoa. And I think it's because nilikuwa nisha digest hizo words nilikuwa nisha kubaliana nazo. So nimekaa nilizaa 205 mchana. Nimekaa hadi like 5 hakuna 6 hakuna tuko ward. So kitu kama 2 usiku ndo nimeenda nikawambia imagine mimi nilizaa mtoto na hajakuwa able kunyonya. Daktari alikuwa anakuja kuangalia unajua wanafinyanga uchungu. Nasema wanafinya wanapata hakuna unasikia leta hiyo ingine sema hakuna. So men were a bit kind. Anasema ni sawa sorry madam. Women huyu na yeye. So they would go. Hiyo saa 8 ndo nilijambia hii kitu nilikuwa nimeingoja acha tu basi niende niwaambie wanishughulikie. Hadi hapo nilikuwa road niliwaambia kama mnishughulikie mimi kuna watu home juu mtoto wangu hawezi endelea kukaa. So wakaniletea formula hizo powered gate sasa. Nikaendelea sasa nikaanza kumpea walinikorogea wakaniambia vile nitakuanga na koroga wakaniuzia zingine za kwenda kunini. And mother-in-law alikuwa ananiambia daktari hajaona mtu ako na matiti moja ananyonyesha. you can. Namwambia mam, wesi zako ni 2. Ananiambia utanyonyesha. So aliamua atakuwa ananikanda hii every day 3 times. Ananiambia unaona nikikukanda hii haitafura. Na mimi sirudi ushago mpaka niache hii haifuri.
Wow.
So she did that. Mi namwambia haiwezi toka. Then kuna this doctor wa Kenyatta alikuwa ananiambia imagine you can breastfeed. Eat njahe, fanya hivi. Sa after like 1 week maziwa ikaanza kutoka. But nikaanza kukuwa nampea nani nikisupplement. Acha niseme hii ndo ilikuwa supplement because ndo ilikuwa kidogo. After 1 month nikaenda kupima kilo alikuwa nasi nilikuwa nimemzaa na 3.9 so alikuwa na 5.7. Akajambia
ana grow
kwaje sasa niachane na but tukakuwa tunabai kitambo alikuwa anakunywa mkebe moja weekly tunabai 2 sasa per month. And then there's this lecturer anafunza na my husband alikuwa analetea 20 liters of porridge every week. So naona design amejikaza. Mimi akikuja nilikuwa tu nataka aniambie mapema ndo nifiche hii nani. Mtu amejikaza hivi vyote na
unakula tena unapea mtoto nani.
So I used to hide and hide. But sikukuanga happy. And then pia challenge zenye nilikutana nazo ni unajua kila mtu anaona every time unanyonyesha mtoto hii side and they're asking you about that. It's then that I realized kumbe sijahili kabisa. I was not comfortable telling them kwa nini nanyonyesha hivyo. So kidogo until here I'm healed. Saizi sidhani there is anything that naweza shindwa kusema. In fact, there is a time I was telling my house help if my body was to be used as a school for someone to learn and say kama ule ameweza nitaweza and I will achieve my dreams. Mimi I am alive but I will use it. You want to use it as a school? What do you want to learn? How I've come to realize that kando na body image we are so detached from our own selves. We are very detached. Anytime you mention something like we were told they were private parts. So let me use the term private parts, but I call them divine parts because what's private in what you can see. So they're private to others, but
just
divine
not
to
yourself.
us. So like mother-in-law ndo alikuwa very supportive. Alikuwa na mikanda machichi hii moja. Na pia hiyo mguu yenye ilikuanga imefura because I don't think nisha mention that mguu yangu moja ilifura kabisa after kujifungua. So she used to massage me with lots of warm water 3 times per day and it was helpful. And until now sijaipata any issue. And then I told God, if you give me this chance to breastfeed, honestly I'll not care what anyone else says. Like why are you breastfeeding? Mimi nitanyonyesha until mtoto wangu amefika at least 4 years and I've done exactly that.
How do you breastfeed a 4-year-old?
Oh my goodness, I've done exactly that.
Serious?
And I always tell people, when you get that thing that you deeply prayed for, do exactly what you said you'll do with it when it comes. Because for me, I've had people advising me hapana, bad manners, but dear, wewe unajua ile time nilikuwa nalia nikitaka mtoto ulikuwa na wako or you were young au kujua how it feels to have your own child. And this doesn't mean that we do not recognize those that are not able to have one. But when you get what you were praying for, do exactly what you said you'll do with it. God, I need a husband. Mimi nitamtunza, mimi nitafanya hivi. You said that, do that. Umekaa kikao cha watu wanasema men are bad na wako ni mzuri. Usitupee point ndo utufurahishe. Kwako kama ni kuzuri, wacha kuwe kuzuri. When you're not fine, ask for help. But at any given time, never think that your life inaweza linganishwa na ya mwingine 100%.
That's true.
So nimemnyonyesha until he told me, Mom, hey, na hii nyonyo ni tamu. And mama, if I get chance, mimi nikikuwa mkubwa, I will breastfeed you. Like he didn't understand.
Yeah,
so
what's going
nikikuwa
on?
mkubwa, I'll give back by breastfeeding you.
Wow. So anyway, Gertrude, let me just ask you this. Do you feel like there's a difference between physical wounds and emotional wounds? Because so many people walk with with emotional wounds. Like I would say, I remember there was a time in my relationship, the previous relationship that I used to talk about, which was very abusive. There was a time where my ex told me, alikuwa najua I was struggling with acne.
Yeah.
My entire life I've never struggled with acne. At a high school, adolescence, nothing.
Yeah.
Mine came late because even I was told it can happen, late onset of acne. So it comes in right after I've given birth to my son. He was around 1 year old. I think I was around 26, 27.
Yeah.
And I get acne, and I was so self-conscious, I wouldn't even go out. Where we used to work, nilikuwa naingia tu from the car directly inside. Hata I wouldn't even sit outside. Like, he knew how I was struggling. I'd gone to see a dermatologist. I was trying everything. Hata ungekuja tu, you tell me, apply cow dung. Ningepaka tu ni try and get it better.
Okay.
And then he knew how self-conscious I was about my acne problem. And during one argument, he told me, unakaa chapati. So unajifanyia nani? Unakaa chapati. And you see, chapati, the way it has those two spots. Let me tell you, that thing hurt me. Like, it almost killed me. And up to date, and I can say it's been over 5 years, I still remember that thing. And I wonder, like, why? Why would you do this? And it's when it merged to me that it was a wound. It really wounded me back then. So, do you feel like there's a difference between the emotional wounds and the physical wounds, like the way we relate to them, the way maybe we heal, even coming to heal about them? Because the way I overcame that is they got to a point where I said, by the way, I'm going to let go of everything, because it had become like an obsession. I will wake up thinking about my face. I will sleep thinking about my face. And I got to that point where I said, enough is enough. Me, I've done everything. I'm just going to let it go. And it was that time where now I started clearing on its own. And I feel like even with the physical wounds, sometimes it's so easy to even start looking at them, covering them up. But it's when you embrace them that you can actually heal. Do you feel like it's the same thing?
For me, I would say the only difference between the emotional scars and the physical scars is that physical scars are visible. Because anytime a lot of people, we are taking life from our own perspectives, not because that's the right thing, but it's because all the pains that you've been through are here with us. They are speaking with us. So nimekuta kila kitu imeendelea. Mimi, like tuseme ni list, niko out of list, sijaekwa kwa list. Maybe they forgot. I would feel bad based on everything that I've gone through na haija heal. But for someone that is healed, they would know ni mistake too, na itakuwa corrected. Unaona, so the only difference between the emotional na physical ones ni the visibility. Because sisi wote tuna hurt in so many ways. And until I tell you my story, kuna mtu unaweza mwambia story yako saizi na alikuwa hata anakumistreat. And then they say, oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't know.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. Lakini kama angekuona tu hivi, angekutreat maybe better. Kama hiyo scars zingeendanga zikijionyeshana hapa, angekutreat better if it's someone mwenye amelearn your kindness.
How to deal with that. What about in relationship setup? And especially when you come, the way you come, and at least you've told us how supportive your husband was. And I think even from your story, it shows that there are still good men out there. And I feel like there are women who get into relationships. Now you're with this man and you feel like he's doing you a favor by being with you. So you even find that there are women who will never be able to walk away because they feel like they cannot, or they don't even deserve someone better. So they just stay there. What will you say to that woman?
First of all, I would say that about body image, it affects the relationship in two ways. One, if you have poor body image with yourself, you'll accept anything that comes. Because you do not know how love looks like in the real sense. You do not know. And control sometimes looks like love. Huyo mtu ati unajua anakuanga insecure na mimi nikienda hivi ataki niongee na mwanaume mwingine like ananipenda that much, unaona? Imekucontrol na umeona kama ni love. Another thing ni vile tumesema, you judge things from your own perspective. For example, if your husband comes today na yeye amekosa like amefanya vitu vyake, makosa yake, and now they're telling you they are sorry, and you're here telling them najua tu unanifanya hivyo juu nimechomeka. Najua unafanya, like for me I used to tell that to my husband a lot. Anytime tumekosana hivi I used to tell him, hey, basi siende ukaoea wako na wako na hizo the two breasts. And I'm telling you, people get tired at some point. And that's why we always say, for example, if a plate breaks here, if you're not careful, hata ukiokota aje, itakudunga hata kitu kidogo. So that was me, the broken plate. And I'm here with him, and he's trying to collect my pieces and put them together, and it's hard for him because I'm reminding him, hey, I'm broken, anaweza kuvunja, wewe usinione hivyo. Like unaona, it seems like love from me. Like namtaka, unajua hiyo yenye you said about manipulation, nakutaka so much and I'm controlling you with my words, unajua hivyo.
Pushing
Also,
him away, self-sabotage.
Also, from for the woman that is in a toxic relationship, and especially the one that you always reminded of your looks. Unajua umemaliza kujifungua, you added weight, your man tells you uko na taya. I saw one, it was a video in TikTok, and this lady was crying, begging his man, kwa sababu wamekutana. Unajua hizi shows zenye zinaangalia loyalty ya watu. So wamekutana kwa barabara, the guy anamcheza, na vile amepatikana anachezana, the lady anamuuliza, but babe, how could you do that for me? Anamwambia, he, mtu anatoshana hippopotamus, mimi.
Wow.
Mimi, you're not the person that I married. Mimi, I married a slender lady, and that's what I wanted. Anamwambia, but we can go to the gym, babe. Who is your babe? Gym with who? Mimi na hippo, gym. And I saw the girl crying and begging. Honestly, I felt for her. Aki alikuwa analia ya ukweli, and alikuwa anamwambia, please, we can go to the gym.
Because she feels like she cannot now get someone better. Who ndiye amemuitikia with the way that she looks.
And now you'd rather do everything. Unaona, now
to
this
keep
is,
him.
Now this is ile point yenye you're self-improving, yes. But for people and not for you. And anytime you're self-improving for others, you'll get there. A friend of mine sent me a book. It's a doctor that had written it. Alikuwa anasema vile ameona watu wakifanywa surgery, the corrective surgeries, and maybe you wanted your boob to be a little bit smaller, or your hips to broaden, or your tummy to fill your fat itoke, but after that they still have the same issues with them.
Because
Why?
it's an internal thing, not a
you
physical
cannot solve
thing.
outer problems with,
Yeah.
outer problems with
Inner things,
problems
physical
outer
solutions.
So alikuwa anasema the point is to accept yourself first. And also this comes to self-awareness. Exactly zile vitu zenye you're teaching women, because you're also teaching. I ever came across your virtual classes zenye zilikuwa za women still in marriage, and we are teaching us vile you can handle yourself even in the marriage. It's more of you, because you know what to accept
And what not to.
and that's why it's really important to have a relationship coach, especially when you have hizo issues in marriage. They can tell you when to leave from the experience, and naona kama wewe you've even written a book, so that tells you you are a researcher, you've done a lot of things. It's not like I was telling my nephew, if anyone, sasa ndo turudi kwa hiyo, it's not like if anyone loves you, honestly atakupea kitabu. Mwenye akupendi, they'll give you food, ukule, uende upupuishe hivyo. Because books bring so much knowledge. Like you can travel to 100 countries in 1 year.
Isn't that why we are told, especially in Africa, that knowledge is hidden in books because we don't read as much?
Yeah.
Like secrets are hidden in books.
I hear people saying, even our elders, when umeona mtu ameandika vitu nyingi kabisa, utaona mtu amekwambia, a friend gave me this book. Hivyo, na hiyo ndo ilikuwa chanzo cha maisha yangu kubadilika. So, having someone like you that, because niliangalianga hiyo time nilikuwa naangalia relationship coaches, sikukuwa naona. And having someone like you that can walk the journey with you, because their things are so broad, and for you, you know all of them. It's something amazing. It's something that honestly you take for granted. And I tell people, put in the work. So maybe coach is telling you, I'm charging 500. That's an example for maybe consultation. Aki usiwai feel ugumu. Mimi nimekuangulia mtu nasikia ugumu. Hey, so like everything.
Investing in yourself. And then that is something else that I even find us as women struggle with. You will pass by a place, you see a very nice shoe, you think of your baby. You say, exactly, a shoe, my husband. But how it's rare when that us women can think about ourselves, because you are always taught that the family comes first. And it's not just about investing yourself, doesn't just mean you buying yourself something good. It can even mean now investing in yourself, like learning who am I, for you to know what do I deserve and what do I not deserve.
Like kuna time after after we talked with you and then I told you about the course that I was got for his classes. Nilikuwa nimeenroll free master class ya Tony Robbins. And then Tony alikuwa na classes that after the free master class you have to pay around 99,000. And then I was telling myself if I had it I would pay. It's 1 month, but honestly the 3 days that we were together, like it was a virtual class with lots of people, but I felt transformed, like really transformed. And I always tell people, I love this verse about the Bible that says, be transformed by the renewal of your mind, because I've come to agree that everything starts from the mind.
Wow. I think we could talk. I love this conversation. I just love having you here. And honestly, what you talk about, I can already see it, falling in love with your body. Because let me tell you, can meet someone who is looking like that is they eat that we'd want, they have their makeup done in but then they have so many insecurities inside them that you can already see them. Like it precedes them, even how they look. So let me first of all say thank you very much. I really appreciate you. There's so many topics that we need to cover about body image. Like confidence is everything, especially when it comes to relationships, when it comes to an individual as a person. So I hope that you can still come back again and educate our women and probably even some men, because I know I have some men who are subscribers as well. I'm really grateful to you. And any parting shot that you'd want to say to the women or men who might be watching this today?
First of all, I want to applaud you. You're doing such an amazing job.
Thank you.
Very amazing. And also, the last time we talked through a call, you told me that, hey, unajua ukiweka hizo stress zote in your mind, ngoja ufike, I don't know, you said, ngoja ufike 30, ama ngoja ufike ngapi, utaona. And then that tells you there's a connection between body image, body struggles, and the sicknesses that we have. So we can talk about body image in relationship too, to help. Because I don't think, you know, that unajua someone with a negative body image, they are prone to lots of diseases and accidents. Sijui kama unajua hivyo. Very prone.
I didn't know
and
we need to talk about that.
It's like a punishment for the hatred you have for yourself. So I would say look for someone to walk the journey with you. You will find it so easier. And that's why people, when people make mistakes, those that really know what it means to give back, they come back and hold your hand. So you look for someone to hold your hand, and best part is that you have one here. She's Jacinta, your coach, now because you're watching her channel. And I'm telling you for free, she has the best kind of advice. She'll hold your hand. And one thing that I appreciate from her, you can get advice from someone based on 2 areas of our life. Someone will give you advice from their pain, and others will give you advice from their point of healing. So you walk the journey with her because she has healed. Anytime you get advice from someone that is still pained, she's giving you pain. She's not giving you help. And also, relationships can be solved, and the body image issues can be solved. So you know when it's time to leave, depending on what you have. Be aware of yourself, appreciate your body, love it, and also realize that you can communicate to your body the same way you communicate to your husbands. You can touch it, you can feel it the same way you feel your partners. Thank you. You're all amazing.
And please tell us about where they can find you. Where can they find you?
You can follow me, Precious Gatula, Facebook. And if you want more of my services, I think you can comment at the Jacinta's channel, and then we'll see that you need the contacts and all that, and then we'll give out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And till next time, my guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this video. I'm sure this video is going to help a lot of, not just women, but a lot of people in general. So till next time, bye.